Today, we are undertaking something that, well, it might sound a bit like typical self-help, but actually, it's more of a deep tactical dive into, like, human social physics. Our mission today is to really redefine what attractiveness means. Seriously, forget the usual stuff, genetics, hours in the gym, all that.
Right.
We're digging into sources that focus purely on behavior, on energy, communication patterns, stuff like that.
That's exactly right. Because the sources we looked at, they argue pretty strongly that true attractiveness, that magnetic quality that just pulls people in, builds strong connections.
Yeah.
It has almost nothing to do with whether you fit some like conventional standard of good looks.
Okay.
It's fundamentally about how you carry yourself, the energy you give off, and maybe most importantly, the feeling you leave people with after you interact, that emotional residue.
And here's the exciting part for you listening. This isn't about innate gifts you either have or don't.
No.
It comes down to 6 specific actionable habits, things you can actually do.
Totally learnable.
Completely learnable. You can start, like, today. And it doesn't matter what you look like, how much money you have, even if you're still learning the language, right?
Precisely. It's like a shortcut to presence, but it just requires intention, not, expensive stuff.
Okay, so let's underscore why this matters right away. There's this statistic our sources kept bringing up, and it's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, the 7-second rule. That's striking.
Yeah.
People apparently decide how attractive, how trustworthy, basically how appealing you are within the first 7 seconds of meeting you.
7 seconds? Wow, that's barely enough time to, like, stand up straight, let alone say something smart. How is that even possible?
Well, it's because that initial judgment isn't based on your CV.
Right.
It's not about your accomplishments.
Okay.
It's almost entirely nonverbal in those first moments. Your energy.
So what, like posture, eye contact?
Exactly. How you walk up to someone, how quickly you make eye contact, and is it like steady or darting around? Your micro expressions, are you tense, relaxed? Even the tone of your voice matters hugely. Are you speaking from your chest, projecting confidence? Or is it more hesitant from the throat? Are you sort of shrinking? Or are you owning your space?
So if I walk into a room, maybe feeling a bit unsure, shoulders slumped, avoid eye contact, even if I'm wearing a great shirt and have brilliant things to say later.
You've kind of already set a tone in those first few seconds.
The verdict's in. Wow. So the pressure isn't on looking perfect, it's on showing up authentically right from the get-go.
Exactly. First impressions count big time.
Yeah.
But the focus shifts to demonstrating immediate confidence, warmth, approachability, and these 6 habits we're going to cover. They're basically the toolkit for nailing those first seconds and then building something real afterwards.
Okay, let's dive in. Habit number 1. This one feels like the biggest mind bender almost.
It is pretty counterintuitive.
Yeah.
The core idea, don't try so hard to be interesting. Focus on being interested.
Okay, I have to admit, I've totally been there, like before a party or something, Googling fun facts or rehearsing some cool story in my head, stressing about sounding smart or funny.
That anxiety is so common. We think social interaction is a performance, Like, we have to prove we're worth talking to by dazzling people.
Right, like a job interview for being liked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you approach it like that, the other person feels that tension. They sense you're looking for approval, not really connecting.
And then you think back, what do people actually remember from conversations?
Definitely not the fun fact you dropped.
Or even the amazing travel story. What really sticks, what you remember years later sometimes, is how someone made you feel. Especially how they made you feel about yourself.
That is the absolute core of it. That's the magnetic difference. There was this great anecdote in the sources about a speaker at a big workshop. And there was this woman there, not flashy, didn't have some huge title, wasn't telling loud stories. But when the speaker talked to her, the way she focused, her eye contact, the way she asked follow-up questions, it made the speaker feel like, quote, the single most interesting and important person in the room.
Wow. So she wasn't trying to grab the spotlight?
Not at all. She was giving attention, deep attention. She wasn't performing. She was just present.
That's why the sources use that analogy, right? Instead of being the firework all flash and bang, thing gone.
Be the mirror.
Be the mirror. Reflect their light. Make them shine.
Gently, yeah. And the psychology is pretty straightforward. When someone feels truly seen and valued by you, their brain literally links those good feelings, feeling understood, feeling important directly to you, to your presence.
Okay, I love the mirror idea, but let me push back a bit. What if I'm genuinely, like, nervous? Or what if the person I'm talking to is going on about something I know nothing about, like super niche competitive dog grooming or something?
Right.
How do I generate real curiosity when I'm just lost? Because faking it feels obvious.
That's a really good point. Fake interest is definitely a turnoff. People sniff it out immediately. The key is to shift your focus.
Shift it how?
From the topic, the dog grooming details you don't care about, to the person and their relationship to the topic. You don't need to be fascinated by the different types of clippers. You need to be interested in the emotion they connect to it, their passion, their experience.
So instead of asking, like, what's the hardest type of poodle cut, I should ask, what?
Pivot to the human element. Ask things like, wow, how did you first get into that?
Mm-hmm.
Or what was the moment you realized, okay, this is really my thing?
Ah, the origin story.
Yeah. Or dig a bit deeper emotionally. What's been the most challenging part of pursuing this? Or even better, how does it actually feel when you, nail a really difficult grooming session?
So you're tapping into universal feelings, passion, challenge, accomplishment.
Exactly. The sources kept highlighting these simple, open-ended prompts. Things like, how did that feel for you? Or just a really simple, powerful one. And then what happened? It just invites them to keep sharing their story.
It's amazing how powerful that can be, just letting someone talk, guiding them a little.
And the funny thing is, when you really do that, when you act as the spotlight and help someone else open up, they walk away thinking you were incredibly interesting.
Even though you barely talked about yourself?
Right, because you made them feel good about themselves. So that intentional shift from look at me to I see you,
Yeah.
that's the foundation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Being interested, not interesting.
And that deep attention, making someone feel truly seen, leads us perfectly into habit number 2.
Which is?
Which is about making them feel genuinely valued.
Oh, cute.
It's about depth and appreciation, complementing what our sources call the soul level.
Oh, I like that. Soul level. We definitely need to get past the surface stuff, don't we?
Absolutely. We're swimming in these basic temporary compliments all the time. Nice shoes, cool haircut, love your bag.
Yeah, they're nice, but they kind of evaporate in 5 seconds.
Because they validate something external, something fleeting. The shoes get scuffed, the haircut grows out.
Right.
We need to aim higher. Aim for compliments that land deeper, that validate who someone is at their core, something that sticks.
Like that example you mentioned earlier, being told, I feel safe when I talk to you.
Exactly. Think about the impact of that versus nice sweater.
Huge difference. I feel safe isn't about what you're wearing. It's about your character, your trustworthiness, your whole vibe.
It validates their impact on you. It confirms something fundamental about their personality. That's why it sticks. It's the difference between you look nice today, gone in an instant, and say, wow, you handled that really stressful meeting with such calmness. I really admired that.
That second one validates a choice they made, an effort, a character trait in action.
Precisely. The real gold is in noticing the invisible stuff. Actively look for it. Patience when things are tough. Persistence on a hard project. The emotional labor someone puts into supporting a friend. Their quiet consistency. Their kindness when no one's looking.
So you're complimenting their internal software, basically. Their vibe, like you said, not just their profile picture.
You got it. Their vibe, not their Instagram look.
Can you give us a few more concrete examples, like how to shift from surface to soul level in, say, a work context or with a friend?
Sure. Okay, at work, instead of the generic, you're so smart, which people often just brush off.
Yeah, it feels a bit empty sometimes.
Try something specific about the impact of their smartness. Like the way you explained that complex budget issue. It was so clear, it really helped me understand what I need to do next. Thank you for that.
Ah, okay. You're showing how their intelligence helped you. Makes it concrete.
Exactly. Or socially, maybe a friend consistently shows up for you, even in small ways. Instead of just, thanks, try something like, you're just so incredibly thoughtful consistently. It means a lot to me. Or maybe you have this quiet strength about you that I really admire.
I notice in those examples you often use I, like I admire. It helped me. It means a lot to me.
Yes, that's key. It grounds the compliment in your genuine experience. It's not just abstract praise, it's proof of their positive impact on you. It makes it personal, harder to dismiss.
And that feels more authentic, too.
Definitely. And here's the interesting twist, sort of bonus benefit.
Okay.
Giving compliments like this, these deep, specific ones, actually makes the giver seem more attractive.
Really? How does that work? Isn't the focus on them? Am I not diminishing my own shine by praising them?
Not at all. Think about what it signals about you when you can offer that kind of compliment.
Okay. What does it signal?
It signals profound confidence, for one. You have to be pretty secure in your own worth to genuinely notice, articulate, and celebrate the good qualities in someone else without feeling threatened or like it's a competition.
Huh. I never thought of it that way. So generosity signals security.
Exactly. And it also signals high emotional intelligence. You're perceptive. You see beyond the surface. You value character. These are all incredibly attractive traits in anyone, a potential partner, a colleague, a friend. It gives you this inner glow that no Instagram filter can fake.
That connection, giving deep compliments, reflects your own security and depth. That's really powerful.
It really is.
And that inner security, that confidence, it flows right into habit number 3, doesn't it? Which is about projecting unapologetic confidence, but through something really subtle. The actual words you choose.
Yes. This one is fascinating because it deals with these tiny, almost invisible linguistic habits that can seriously undermine how people see us. We call it the language of shrinking.
The language of shrinking. Okay, tell me more.
It's all those ways we soften our requests, hedge our statements, basically make ourselves smaller linguistically, often because we don't want to impose or feel like we're being demanding.
Oh man, I know exactly what you mean. Like the classic over-apology approach to asking for something.
Totally.
Sorry to bother you. I know you're super busy, but if you possibly have a spare second, maybe you could just glance at this. No worries if not.
Nailed it. That whole cascade of apologies and qualifiers. The sources had a great analogy for this kind of language.
Yeah.
It's like your voice is wearing slippers instead of shoes.
Huh? Slippers instead of shoes.
Yeah.
I love that. What does that mean?
It's soft. It's hesitant. It's maybe a bit unsure if it's even allowed to step firmly. It signals to the listener, unconsciously, that you think your request is an inconvenience, and maybe that you don't fully believe you deserve their time or help.
And that, unfortunately, lowers your perceived status or authority in that moment.
It can, yeah. It subtly chips away at your presence. It's the verbal equivalent of like hunching your shoulders or avoiding eye contact while you speak.
So how do we ditch the slippers and put on some proper shoes, linguistically speaking?
By shifting to clear, direct, but still respectful language. Let's contrast that slipper request. How about, could you please give me feedback on this draft by 3 p.m.? Let me know if that time frame works.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's totally different. Still polite, uses please, but it's clear, it's confident, it sets an expectation.
Exactly. Or if you need help understanding something, instead of, sorry, this is probably a stupid question, but just say, please explain that last point again.
Direct, respectful, assumes you have the right to ask.
And that's the critical distinction. This isn't about being rude or aggressive or barking orders, not at all. It's simply about not automatically diminishing yourself every single time you need something or state an opinion.
It's about claiming your space in the conversation.
Yes. You're stating your presence, your needs, clearly and respectfully. There's that specific story we looked at about the student learning English.
Oh, yeah, the one who always started with, sorry, my English is bad, can I ask?
Right. And the teacher's correction was so powerful. Stop apologizing for learning. Stop apologizing for being here.
And the advice was to switch to phrases like,
just direct request. Please explain this. What does this word mean? Could you repeat that?
That simple shift from apologizing for existing to confidently asking for what you need. It changes the whole energy, doesn't it?
Completely. People lean in. Confidence, when it's grounded and not arrogant, signals that you value yourself, that your voice matters, and that self-respect is incredibly attractive. You change from implicitly asking, is it okay if I'm here, to calmly stating, I am here, I respect you, and this is what I need.
Okay, mastering that confident communication feels huge. But then we get into maybe the trickiest part of attractiveness, managing the actual emotions and interactions, which brings us to habit 4, right? Acknowledging vulnerability and building trust.
Exactly. We've kind of touched on this, but being attractive isn't just about how you project yourself. It's very much about how carefully and respectfully you receive others.
Okay.
So imagine someone shares something personal with you. Maybe it's not huge. Maybe it's a small win they're proud of, or a worry about a presentation, or even just a slightly embarrassing memory. In that moment, they're offering you a degree of trust. The source material called it handing you a little treasure.
A little treasure. I like that imagery. So what's the common mistake people make when someone hands them this treasure?
The quick dismissive acknowledgement, the rapid nod, the, oh, wow, that's tough, and then immediately changing the subject back to themselves or onto the next practical thing.
Yeah, I can picture that, just sort of glossing over it.
It's like someone hands you this delicate, valuable thing, you just toss it into your bag without even looking at it properly.
Ouch. And the person who shared feels...
Minimized. Unseen. Like the risk they took in sharing wasn't valued. The trust connection gets weakened right there. You basically signaled your vulnerability is kind of inconvenient right now.
So the attractive, the connecting thing to do is pause.
Pause, yes. Intentionally hold that moment. Give the emotional weight, even if it's small, its proper due. Don't rush past it.
And what do you actually say in that pause? What are the phrases?
The key is to acknowledge the act of sharing, the trust involved, not just the content itself. Simple things work wonders.
Like,
wow, thank you for sharing that with me, or that must have taken courage to say, or simply, I really appreciate you trusting me with that.
so you're validating the vulnerability itself.
Precisely. You're showing you recognize the gift they gave you. Yeah. It's like, instead of just waving from the window, you're actually opening the door and inviting them in for a second.
Okay, but let me ask this. How do we make sure this isn't just manipulation? Like, if I'm just pulling out the phrase, thank you for sharing that, because I read it helps build rapport. Does that still work if it's not, like, 100% heartfelt in the moment?
That's a fair question. Authenticity matters. Ideally, your intention is genuinely to honor the connection and the trust. If that's the case, the words will probably land well.
But if I'm just trying to score points...
People might eventually sense that, yeah. But the sources also suggest something interesting. Practicing these behaviors, pausing, acknowledging, using these phrases can actually help you internalize the emotional intelligence behind them over time.
To fake it till you make it, a little bit.
Kind of. You start by consciously remembering to pause and acknowledge, and through that practice, you actually train yourself to become more attuned, more genuinely appreciative of those moments of trust when they happen.
That makes sense. It's like building a muscle.
Yeah.
And it applies even in really simple everyday situations, right?
Absolutely. Your colleague admits they're struggling with a piece of software before you jump in with solutions.
Acknowledge the struggle first.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for telling me. Yeah, that part can be really tricky. I get it. Just that little moment of validation before the fix.
It builds that safety you mentioned earlier.
Exponentially. It increases trust, makes you seem reliable, supportive, all deeply attractive qualities.
Okay, so we handle vulnerability with care. But what about the opposite? What about friction, disagreement, frustration? That leads us to habit 5, right? Validation in heated moments.
Yes. And this, according to the sources, is often the ultimate stress test for attractiveness or charm.
Because it's where most people lose it.
Exactly. Conflict, frustration. That's where the mask slips for many people. Think about it. A tense argument with your partner, a teammate who keeps messing up, a client pushing your buttons unfairly.
Yeah, the natural instinct is often to get defensive, right? To push back, maybe get sarcastic or just shut down.
All very understandable, but not very magnetic. The attractive response, the one that shows real emotional maturity, is to choose validation first, even when you're annoyed.
Validation first. Okay, what does that sound like in practice? Is there a magic phrase?
There kind of is. It's incredibly simple, but powerful for de-escalating tension. It's basically variations of, you're right, that part was frustrating. I can totally see why you felt that way.
I can see why you felt that way, even if I don't agree with their whole argument.
That's the crucial bit. You don't have to agree with their conclusion or their proposed solution. You're not saying, you're right, I'm wrong.
Okay.
You are simply validating the legitimacy of their emotion, their frustration, their disappointment, their stress. Those feelings are real for them in that moment, even if you think their reasoning is flawed.
So you're separating the feeling from the facts, almost. Acknowledging the feeling is valid, even if the facts need discussion.
Perfectly put. You're acknowledging their map of the situation, as one source described it. Their emotional map is real, even if it doesn't perfectly align with factual territory. And when you validate the map first...
It makes them more open to actually looking at the territory together.
Exactly. It lowers their defenses. It creates an opening for their rational brain to come back online because they feel heard, not attacked.
And that comes across as, what, kindness? Strength?
Both. In a tense moment, choosing understanding over reactivity shows immense emotional maturity. It's a quiet form of power, not weakness. It's like choosing to gently water the relationship even when it's stressed, instead of just throwing the pot against the wall.
Nice analogy. Watering the plant, not throwing the pot.
People remember that. They remember the person who stayed calm and kind under pressure far more vividly than the person who just shouted the loudest. That deep presence sticks.
Okay, that calm, validating presence is key, which sets us up beautifully for the final piece of the puzzle, the frame around the whole interaction. Habit 6, strong entrances and warm exits.
Yeah, this ties everything together by focusing on how interactions begin and, just as importantly, how they end. It leverages a well-known psychological principle,
Which is?
the peak end rule. Basically, our memory of an experience isn't an average of the whole thing. We disproportionately remember the most intense moments, the peaks, and crucially, how the experience ended.
Right, the middle part often gets fuzzy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about a concert. Maybe the middle was just okay, but if the opening number was amazing and the encore blew you away,
You remember it as a great concert.
or a movie with a really powerful ending, that's what you walk out talking about.
Okay, so how do we apply that peak end rule to social interactions?
You intentionally manage those two key moments, the very beginning and the very end. So the strong entrance is about nailing those first 7 seconds we talked about earlier.
Back to the beginning.
Yes, whether it's walking into a meeting, joining a video call, meeting someone for coffee, maximize that initial impact. Stand tall, make immediate warm eye contact, use their name if you know it. Hi, Sarah, great to meet you.
Projecting presence and respect right away.
Sets a positive peak right at the start. And then the warm exit is just as vital. You can't let the interaction just fizzle out.
Right, like when the meeting's over and everyone just clicks leave or drifts away, checking their phones.
Exactly. You need to consciously end it with the same level of presence and warmth you started with. You have to mean the goodbye.
How do you do that without it being awkward or taking too much time?
It doesn't need to be elaborate. Simple, sincere phrases work best. Pause, make eye contact again, instead of a mumbled bye. Try. It was really great talking to you. Or, thanks so much for your time. I really enjoyed this conversation. Or even, looking forward to seeing you again soon.
So you're framing the interaction positively and maybe hinting at future connection.
Yes, you're leaving them with a clear, positive, final impression. A warm, emotional residue. The goal isn't some big dramatic sign-off.
What is the goal then?
It's simply to leave them feeling that you were fully there, engaged, present, respectful from the first moment to the very last. You leave behind that feeling of genuine connection.
Because that's the feeling that lingers, isn't it? Long after the specific words are forgotten. Not your clever joke, not the impressive stat you shared.
But the feeling, the warmth, the feeling of being seen, being valued, being respected, that's what sticks.
Wow. Okay, so bringing it all together then.
It really comes back to two things, doesn't it? Intention and attention.
Yeah. Every single habit we talked about, being interested, complimenting deeply, speaking confidently, handling vulnerability, validating emotions, framing the start and end, it all boils down to where you intentionally place your attention.
Attractiveness in this sense is really about the energy you consciously choose to bring into an interaction and the feeling you deliberately try to create in the other person.
And the most liberating part, the real power in this whole deep dive, is that this is all learnable. It's all within your control right now.
Absolutely. This kind of presence, this way of being with people, it's honestly way more powerful than, having perfect abs or the most expensive watch. And frankly, it's a lot easier to maintain long term. It comes from internal choices, not external things that fade or change.
So as we wrap up, maybe we can leave everyone listening with a final thought to chew on, something provocative based on all this.
I think so. The advice from the sources essentially boils down to this. If you ever find yourself looking in the mirror, feeling a bit down, thinking that common thought, ugh, I wish I were more attractive.
Yeah.
Try consciously reframing that question. Stop asking about the external package. Instead, ask yourself, how can I choose to be more present in this next interaction? How can I be a little bit kinder? How can I show up just a little more real?
Because that's the stuff people actually remember.
That's the stuff that truly connects. That's the real source of magnetic attractiveness. Go be present. Go be kind. Go be the spotlight for someone else.